This is the second day in a row where we are doubling the climb from the previous day. The Great Plains are officially over. The Missouri transportation authorities back in the day lacked the creative gene. Some of our road names today include BB, CC, and get this, E. We'll have plenty of opportunities for services in Walnut Grove, Fair Grove, and Marshfield.
Good morning, it's dark outside. Why is that? That's because I set my alarm for 3:20 a.m. and we've started cycling at 4:09 a.m. because today we're climbing 4,600 feet in hot, humid weather. I wanted to do as much of it before the terrible heat started. I know we're going to be cycling in some of the terrible heat, and we have not climbed this much in a single day since Wolf Creek Pass. And the odd thing is, I don't think we are ever getting above 1,800 feet of elevation today. So it is all just seriously steep, shortish hills. That's what we have to look forward to today and tomorrow. Long mileage days, a lot of climbing. How sweaty can one be at 4:34 a.m.? Very sweaty. We're walking our bikes through a construction zone. Oh yeah. Oh, we're walking on dry land. This is going to be a bridge someday.
Walnut Grove, Missouri was originally called Possum Trot due to the abundance of the animal in the area. The city's annual celebration is still called Possum Trot Days. They also have an annual bluegrass music festival called Pickin' in the Park. My wife and I frequently volunteered at Flagstaff, Arizona's Pickin' in the Pines music festival when we lived there.
I'm going through Walnut Grove, Missouri, which I know looks beautiful this time of day in the video, doesn't it? It's quite dark. Their sign says that they have a population of 630, and their girls basketball team won the state championship 4 years in like the late 2010s. How does a city with a population of 630 have enough population for talent to have that talented of a basketball team? That's incredible. Some good basketball genes here in Walnut Grove, Missouri. When you start this early, the downside is the convenience stores are still closed. The first two convenience stores we stopped at were locked up, but the second one, Bolton's convenience store, I can only assume it is owned by Michael Bolton. They had a soda machine outside, so I got a cold soda. At least got something cold in me. It is really hard to film footage of today's ride because I'm either in first gear climbing and need both hands on the handlebars, or I'm upshifting to gear 27 and cranking for my life because always up ahead is another very steep ascent. Just non-stop high rollers here in the Ozarks. That makes it hard to film, but I am in first gear now, and then I see the crest of the hill up there. Up. Oh, and Paul found a turtle! The downside of that turtle salvation was that I could not continue the momentum of my ascent from the bottom of the hill. A little bit more work, but hey, it's worth it. Saving turtles, getting our bounty from the World Wildlife Foundation, thank you for sponsoring us. When the National Humane Society learns of how many dogs I pepper sprayed this summer, they're likely going to pull their funding. They've been a big sponsor and financial supporter of this trip, deep into the 5 figures, if I'm being honest with you. But I might need to pay all that back. Oh, geez. Do you notice something a little off about my handlebars? The one on the right's pointing more out, the one on the left is pointing more toward me. And I am wondering how many days I've been riding like that. The bike occasionally tips over, not with me on it, but when I take the saddlebags off and just have the tent on there, the kickstand doesn't have a good balance. And so I think with all those falls, this has come in. So I am going to grab my little toolkit, and I think this point right there is where I can adjust that and bring that back into alignment. The ergonomics on the stretch limo have been restored, although now I'm thinking that I overdid it and went a little too far out on the left one. But I'm going to ride for a while like this and see how it feels. In reading other people's Transamerica ride reports, they reported that Missouri has the highest abundance of roadkill. I would say it's on par with other states so far. Granted, I've only been in the state for a couple days, but the ones that I do pass, they are stinky when it's hot and humid. Oh boy, decay sets in, and those things stink. All right, I know what you're thinking. I want to see one of these first gear to 27th gear back to first gear transitions. And here we go. Just crested the hill. Imagine David Attenborough is describing what's going on. All right, I'm in my middle chain ring. I'm in my big chain ring. Upshift. All right, see, it's not wee because you got to keep cranking. I'm cranking. I'm in 27th gear and I'm going 29 miles per hour. And I've reached the bottom, and now, the sad part, I gotta start downshifting. Downshift. All right, I'm in my smallest chain ring, the cassette, clickety-clack, all down. Are we at one yet? We're at 1. And that's what the transition looks like. Just repeat that 5,000 times, and you will have crossed the Ozarks. Missouri is what I imagined in terms of the terrain. Just non-stop hills and the trees. This is what I expected. Like, the sun is up, but I am protected from the sun by the trees a lot of the time, and delaying putting on all my sun protection stuff because it's hot and humid and my arms are so wet with sweat. It's gonna take 20 minutes to get those arm sleeves on. And I'm cresting the hill, and repeat, we're going to 27th gear. When we met that Italian Transamerican racer, by the way, I'm sure it's been done for weeks now. When we met him and looked at his bike, he just had one front chain ring. So he must have determined that the weight loss from not having a second or a third chain ring, not having a front derailleur, not having a gear shifter, and not having the cabling for it, that weight loss must be worth the performance differential of not having that front extra front chain rings. Interesting.
Missouri has an unhealthy fetish for groves. The last 3 towns I went through were Ash Grove, Walnut Grove, and Fairgrove. Fairgrove has frequent tornado activity, and FEMA funds were used to build a storm shelter for the community that was featured on the NBC Today Show in 2013.
Yesterday I had 5 wild dogs come out of the woods chasing me. Not chasing Paul, just chasing me. And I grabbed my pepper spray, but no squirts. Kept going. But had that pack of wild dogs got me and, killed me, and I have my last breath, and Paul's there, I would have said, tell Allison I love her. And I also would have told Paul, hey, that Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy that they played on Saturday Night Live, play that at my funeral because I think it would be funny. There was a Deep Thoughts that said something like, I find it really sad that a family can be torn apart by something as simple as a pack of wild dogs. I think it's now been about 4 days since we've seen a shoulder. There's occasionally one like in a turn lane or over a bridge that lasts for 100 feet, but I'm talking like a shoulder that lasts for at least a mile. That just has been non-existent.
Marshfield, Missouri is the only place where the Transamerica Bicycle Trail intersects with Route 66. It's also the home of Edwin Hubble. Yes, the telescope guy.
Some bad news, Paul has 4 broken spokes. He thinks his derailleur went into his rear wheel. And there is one shop, it's more of a motorcycle shop in town, that we stopped at here in hopes that they will be able to help him out or at least point him in the right direction. That's not what a spoke is supposed to look like. That's not how spokes are supposed to be held together. There's supposed to be something there. So Paul's got some issues. The bike shop was able to get Paul's derailleur back in place, but not able with what they had in stock to do anything about the rear wheel. So Paul's call was to press on to Farmington, where there's a bike shop next to this Al's Place hostel. I think I'm getting those names right. And perhaps have a 29-inch wheel ordered there. Just met 2 westbounders from Maryland, and they stayed in Hartville last night, our destination. But they said they asked all around town and could not find anywhere indoors to sleep. That's unfortunate. It is so hot. It looks like we're gonna have a hot night in a tent, unfortunately. Yeah, the lack of shoulders feels a little unsafe, especially when the traffic picks up. Like early this morning when there was no traffic, big deal. But now, yeah, it doesn't feel too safe. And crazy enough, when it felt the least safe to us is when we borrowed our host's car in Bueller to drive to the Walmart. And I was driving on a road with no shoulder, and I said, I can't believe we bike on roads like this. We didn't even pass any cyclists, just the idea of seeing how little room there was there. That's where it really hit me. And I'm just really hoping with the crest of every hill that I don't see him on the side of the road trying to work on his bike. I hope it continues to get into Hartville tonight. All is in sight. About a quarter mile up road. Bike is rolling. That's a good sign.
Hartville, Missouri is the population center of America. This actually gets updated every 10 years considering the migration of the US population. The prior location was closest to Plato, Missouri. It's been in Missouri since 1980. Before that, it was Illinois and then Indiana. We found our biggest crowd yet of Transammers. They are westbounders from Italy and the UK and America. Six of you?
Yeah.
6 of them. All right. Let's recap day 41. I am in Hartville, Missouri, and today's scenery was let's call it a 5 out of 10, and the difficulty was an 8 out of 10. Yeah, those rollers never stopped, and the heat made it pretty difficult. We did start at 4 a.m., but man, it felt like, should we have started at 2 a.m.? But it was the heat that made it a lot more difficult. And my overall feeling of positivity, despite, the heat made it difficult, but today the ride itself was easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought those Ozarks were really going to kick my butt, and I was handling the rollers okay, with respect to being able to cycle it, but it was just the heat made it so difficult. So overall feeling of positivity is at a 7.